Today, we're going to explore a rideshare service in Hollandale and Arcola, Mississippi. I'm going to get that right. And it's transporting people to the Hearty Helping Food Pantry and Soup Kitchen. And this is a great story of how so many civic as well as state leaders and state organizations have come together to do good for the community. So if you'll head on over to SuperTalkTV.com, you'll see I have a full house with me today, which always makes things more fun. And I'm going to start with Mr. Alexis. Now, Mr. Alexis, you are with Aim for Change in out of Sharkey County, and I told you the last time you were here on Good Things that when you had a good update to get back in the studio, and it didn't even take you a full year to get back here, so welcome back.
Thank you.
And you brought a lovely crew of ladies with you, so introduce to us who you all brought with you today.
I have Ms. Pandora Redmond. She's the director of the Hearty Helping Food Pantry and Soup Kitchen. Ms. LaShonda McKinney. She was here the last time with Bolivar County Council on Aging Transportation Service. And we have the mayor of Arcola, Ms. Cora Burnside, with us here today as well.
All righty. And it took all of you and more to make this project come together. So I'm gonna ask you, Ms. LaShonda, because I know that you guys help with the transportation. How did this project kind of come about? You can just grab. There you go.
Well, the project came about through the partnership with the Mississippi State Extension. Mr. Alexis kind of like the connect the dot type person. They had a grant and he knew the people to get us together to provide transportation. So we started when we were here last time with the Rome and Drew initiative where we were taking people to the grocery stores. So from that, this effort here initiative was birthed, and we are so excited about this partnership that we've developed in South Washington County.
All right, Mayor Burnside. So this is helping, obviously, your people there in Arcola, Mississippi. For those of us who may not know, couldn't find on the map where Arcola is, where do you call home? Where's home on the map, I think is what I'm trying to ask you.
I am 9 miles south of Leland, and I'm 9 miles north of Hollandale. So that means we're I'm on 061 and Highway 438.
Which I bet many of us have driven by or been through or around. We just didn't recognize we were in one of the smaller communities there in the Delta. All right, Alexis, so set the stage. Why are these rideshare kind of services so important for the communities that are now being connected?
Well, these communities are outside of the larger city, which is Greenville, and most of the residents travel to Greenville for their basic needs. And I've been working with the food pantry since the conception of Aim for Change. And so I just thought it would be an interesting partnership just to help people get to the food that are not able, because if you have to drive 30 miles and you don't have a car, but you need to get to food, it's very difficult.
I can only imagine, and that's where you come in, Miss Pandora. I hear you were doing great work there at Hearty Helping's Food Pantry. How long has your food pantry been open?
We have been open for over 14 years, but we have really been proactive for the last 10. The food pantry originated in 2009 or so, 8 rather, and we have been going full force since, but things took a turn for the greater right after the pandemic, and that's when it changed.
Everything changed for so many, and it just, sort of crippled what already was hurting for so many individuals, particularly when it comes to food insecurity and hunger. But aren't you by trade, Ms. Pandora, a registered nurse?
Yes, I am.
So how did you find your way into the food pantry realm? Not just serving or volunteering, but actually, creating it or starting it up?
Yes, the story is something. I say God is really something because he tricked me.
He can do that, can he?
Yes, I started off as a nurse when I was 18. I was an LPN, and I've been in the nursing field now for over 30 years, but I eventually became an RN. So, I had worked every field from dialysis to home health and just med surg, different things, the burn center. And I wanted to do something more. My kids were growing. I've always been an entrepreneur because I was doing things then but didn't know. But the Lord just put in my heart to start a nurse staffing agency. Me and 2 other people, we worked together and started the agency. And it didn't go well because, partnerships don't always work. But I kept moving forward and started.
When did you start to notice that maybe that there was a gap in the community with availability to food?
Well, I'm gonna kind of go.
Yeah, go right ahead. You can go all around the bush
I'm
if
gonna
you
go
need
all
to.
the way around.
That's
okay.
fine.
But I started a nurse staffing agency, which evolved into a nursing, somewhat of a dealing with home care services with the senior citizens and disabled people. And when I started going into the senior citizens' home, I noticed they didn't have food, and I just couldn't. I took food from my home, and that's how the food pantry really got started, by me taking food from home to the clients. And it still wasn't enough, because the more clients I had, the more I saw the need. I invited my staff to join to help feed. We put out boxes around the office. People come in, we ask them to donate. And it still was a greater need. So at that time, that's in 2008, I started Visions, because the Lord had shown me so much, and I wanted to do so much for my seniors, because that's where my heart is, with the elderly and disabled. And the food pantry kind of birthed from seeing the need of the senior citizens, and how really I felt like society had just kind of threw them to the wayside, because they get the least benefits from other programs. And they are the weakest of, they're at their elderly age. And the food pantry really was based on the needs of that community, the senior community.
So you're based there in Greenville, correct, Ms.
Yes,
Pandora?
that's right.
And that's Hearty Helping Food Pantry. What is sort of what's the radius of maybe people who are trying to travel in or come to get the resources and services that you provide?
Our reach is as far as Sunflower County, South Sunflower County. We go as far south as Hollandale. Well, we do have some people from Rolling Fork that come drive up, and also as north as Cleveland, or right outside of Cleveland. So we kind of hit the bases, and people I've met people traveling from one state to the other. They have looked up food for a food pantry. They were traveling, and they came by. And not only do we have a food pantry, we have a soup kitchen. So we do serve hot meals from 1 to 2, Monday through Friday. And people hear about it, and they stop by. People walk from miles to get a hot meal. So.
And that's something I think that with the rideshare was trying to at least help lighten the load or lighten the burden of getting there, right? I mean, walking shows you, walking several miles or several hours just for a hot meal shows you that the need is there and the desire and want for it. But then the transportation sort of piece to that, to me, is just heartbreaking. So, Ms. LaShonda, I know this is where you are rocking and rolling most of the time with transportation. So, when, we take for granted if we have reliable trucks, cars, and vehicles. What is sort of any statistics or numbers of the number of Mississippians who may not have the ability to get to food or to work just because of transportation?
I really don't have numbers, but the need that we see in the communities we serve, a majority of our citizens don't have access to reliable transportation, affordable, that is. Even with the conversation with Ms. Pandora, we are from Hollandale to Greenville, that's about 28 miles there. So we're traveling that far. That's one way just to get people to access the food pantry. And alone, I know since our initiative started in October, we've moved over 200 people to get access to these meals. So it's a great need. It's a great need. We need more partners in these efforts because we're looking to expand. We've received calls from as far as Anguilla and Rolling Fork now to be a part of. So we're excited about it. And again, like we mentioned once before, the need for drivers so that we could definitely meet the needs of the people in our communities.
Because sometimes it's just, bringing all the pieces together, Alexis, which I love about this. You had, 3 mayors, MDOT, as well as a commissioner, and the Extension Service all coming together along with the food pantry to sort of make this program work. And we're going to figure out how it works and learn more coming up next here on Good Things. We're finding out more, though, about the rideshare service in Hollandale and Arcola, Mississippi, which is transporting people to Mississippi's largest food pantry, Hearty Helping Food Pantry and Soup Kitchen, which is located in Greenville, Mississippi. And y'all, when I say this took a partnership and a lot of moving parts to get this actually working, that is probably an understatement. So, Alexis, I love the fact that your aim for change, I guess, sort of thing is advancing, inspiring, motivating for community health through extension. And I'm thinking if there's not a program out there that shows exactly what all of that stands for does, it's the rideshare. It's the rideshare program. Okay, so who all actually came together to say, let's sit at a table, let's figure this out, let's move people to where they can get resources they need?
Well, it was the food pantry, the transportation, Bolivar County, and we met with the mayors of Hollandale and Arcola to try to figure out the logistics of how to get the people there, how they would sign up, and all of those things. So we worked out those details. They would, Bolivar County Council on Aging, they have a call center. So they would call there prior, the week before, and we would cut off on Monday. And that way we would know how many people are coming to the food pantry. We relay that to Miss Pandora, and then on Wednesday, we pick them up, take them, transport them, and they go back $4 round trip. The cost is the same. And we started that way previously, and COVID kind of stirred back up again. So now what we're doing, we're taking food to the communities from the food pantry weekly, and they pick up at a site in their community.
I think that's great. Okay, Miss Mayor Burnside, there in Arcola, how did you get the word out to your residents that this program was going to be available to them? I mean, it's one thing to create it. You know, what's the thing? Create it and they will come. That doesn't always work. Sometimes you can have the best programs and then the ones who need it the most don't find out about it. So how did you get the word out?
Okay, once I talked with Miss Redmond, and she did some flyers, and we did some flyers. And we got to meet this person in my town, and then we put some at the city hall and the post office in different places, and then went around and talked to some of the citizens about connecting. So at first it went a little slow because people didn't know what this was, but now they coming out, and every time you see somebody, what do I have to do that?
Well, I think that's good, though. And Ms. Pandora, for you, from a food pantry standpoint, I mean, was there a little bit of nerves with opening the floodgates to all these new communities and more people coming in, or was it more like, bring them on, we'll figure out how to feed them?
I think it was more the second.
Yeah.
We have good partners and sponsors. Back in October, Mars, Molina Cares, and Kroger, they got together and donated a refrigerated food truck, because that's one of the struggles we were having, transportation to pick up food, and as well as to, distribute, because we used to do the mobile pantry often, but now, I was like, we were ready, because the Greenville Public School System, some of the area schools, they had just donated like 30,000 canned goods. So we had the food. Mars donated all the Uncle Ben's rice that we could handle. So we have partners that help, to Walmart.
Now you just got to get the people sort of to you. And I want to say, oftentimes here on Good Things, Miss Pandora, we talk about the great work of the Mississippi Food Network as well as Extra Table. And when you hear about those organizations, it's people like Miss Pandora with the Hearty Helping Food Pantry and Soup Kitchen that are, receiving food from, two different monsters or two different sort of animals, but it's still going to the same place to help, those who need it most. So I love when the story comes full circle and you get to understand who those donations or who those things are sort of going to. Okay, but then you got to get them there. So, Ms. LaShonda, you were talking about drivers, and I want to make sure folks realize that this is an opportunity not just to give volunteer, but you're looking for, this is paid drivers. So what kind of drivers is making the rideshare service possible?
Well, currently we are accepting applications now for drivers. We ask that you have the CDL driver's license, the regular commercial driver's license, which starts with just a regular Class D, and then we move up from there. So we are actually hiring in all of our areas, and we need drivers. This is paid. So, and we know that there's an opportunity with things that have gone on with the pandemic that people are jobless. So there's an opportunity for jobs, not just in the Mississippi Delta, but we're also here in the Central region. So we have an office here in Jackson where we have need for drivers here as well.
And is that kind of like a full-time gig? Probably not. Or is it just you get on the route or get on the route whenever the days are? Could it be something you could work into something you're already doing? Or what's maybe the time around that?
Well, there's an opportunity to work every day, to do something. Not only do we provide transportation for the food pantry, but we do non-emergency medical transportation. So we're transporting people every day to doctor's appointments as far as Memphis, Tennessee, as well as down here in Jackson.
I can see now why the Bolivar County Council on Aging is a great partner for your heart there, Ms. Pandora, for particularly your seniors. Okay, Alexis, like every good thing that works, you want to take it to more people. And I know that Aim for Change is not just in Sharkey County. I mean, you're part of the Mississippi State Extension Service. I think there's an extension service in all 82 counties. If not, they're all covered by an extension agent. And you hear them doing everything from helping you with, your outdoor stuff or gardening to then, really being rooted in the community and helping in this kind of way. If someone's listening from the Gulf Coast or from, wherever else it may be, that's like, gosh, we need something like that. Is this replicable? That's a big word. Can you repeat it?
Yes, it is. It's just connecting partners together. We're not an island. It takes all of us to make this work. We've even had Mississippi Department of Transportation to help us out and sponsor as well, along with our program Aim for Change, which is funded by the CDC. So it's just finding out who's doing what. A lot of people in the communities are already doing the work. Sometimes it just takes somebody putting them together to say, hey, you all can work together. You're doing the same thing, just in separate places. And so it just takes somebody connecting the dots, and that's what I do.
That's what you do. So if someone wants to contact you about getting a ride share program or a particular service maybe in another community, can they contact you? Or
Sure, they can contact me at 662-769-2283 or email ahh3@msstate.edu.
And Ms. Pandora, I want to make sure we let folks know how they can help with Hearty Helping's Food Pantry there in Greenville, Mississippi. Again, the largest food pantry. But I love your story more than anything, the fact that you walked it out in faith. You're a nurse by trade. You're still doing that. And from what I hear, you do it all there in Greenville. So what do you need most?
Yes, it takes finances. The food is good to have it donated. We need that. But we have to have staff. We need equipment. We have to, the day-to-day run of the pantry is expensive. My husband and I, he retired from being a welder, and we poured our funds into the pantry because we believe, we know that God led us to do it, and He provided. But it is the financial part of it that is a struggle because we do have expenses that has to be met. And that's one of the things. But we're going to keep on doing. We've been doing it for years, but we're going to keep on serving. But we would like the community to help and just pitch in because we're all in this together. And boots on the ground or whatever we have to do. But like I said, the bottom line is that we have finances that, obligations that need to be met.
Do you have a Facebook page, website?
Yes, we have a Facebook page, Hearty Helping Food Pantry, and a website, Hearty Helping Food Pantry. And the Cash App is
$ Hearty Helpings Pantry.
Y'all came prepared. Hey, I don't blame you taking the opportunity while you're here on Good Things because, again, I think this is just a great reminder. It's a great story, too, for us all to be reminded that there are people who are coming together, organizations, whether it's city, state, all of the above, private, nonprofit, and they're working. There's boots on the ground. It's not just a desert. There may be a food desert, but it's not like a desert of not helping hands, and I know Mississippi's the most helping state for a reason. Mayor Burnside, for those residents in Arcola, Mississippi, I mean, how important is it that these programs keep going? Because I know it does Hollandale, Arcola, and
we're getting ready to expand into Anguilla and Rolling Fork and Sharkey.
Anguilla and Sharkey. All those mayors are going to have the same thought that you have. What does it mean to your residents?
It means a lot to the residents in my town because we are a mostly senior citizen town. Most of the people that live there are senior citizens. And they sometimes I just take it on my own and pick up theirs and take it to them because we got people that's homebound.
And that's the thing. Those are the things you don't want them to go, as you mentioned, Miss Pandora, unthought about, or we want them to know that they are still loved and cared, and that there are people out there who are ready to connect those dots to get them the services that they need. Okay, I'm scared to tell y'all to come back for you next. but Alexis, my number, Miss LaShonda. You guys are up to some good stuff with connecting and bringing and transporting, so I appreciate it. And I will give you real quick, Miss LaShonda, where's that website if folks want a job?
Definitely, our website is BCCOAtransit.org, and we also have a website that we've had with this initiative, and that's deltahda.org. There you can learn more about the food pantry, what we've done, all of our partners with this initiative, and more.
And more. All righty, you guys stick with us. We got a few more good things for you coming up.